You're tuned into the deep dive. You're here because you want the core info fast.
That's right.
Today, we're cutting through some of the noise around the potential launch of BlockDAG. It's this new layer 1 blockchain generating quite a bit of buzz.
Yeah, you've probably seen it pop up. They're trying to mix, the security feel of Bitcoin with the speed of something like Caspa.
Mm.
And they want decentralization with proof of work, but using DAG tech.
Yeah.
What's really catching eyes, though, is making mining possible on your phone.
Right, mobile mining. So the big question, the one I think everyone's asking is, when? When could this thing actually launch?
Exactly.
That's what we've been digging into. We looked at their official site, the pre-sale info, a development update they pushed out.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission really for this deep dive is simple. Pull out the solid clues about a potential release date for BlockDAG, just based on what they've actually said.
Okay, let's do it. Where do we start? The timeline.
Yeah, let's unpack this timeline they've mentioned.
Well, the first thing that really stands out is their stated goal. Launch the mainnet within 6 months.
6 months from when?
6 months from the start of their pre-sale, which kicked off this year, 2025.
Okay, 6 months. Now, anyone who follows crypto knows that's really fast.
It's aggressive, yeah. Usually these projects take years, not months, to get from an idea to a live mainnet.
So the 6-month target, it signals, what, urgency, confidence?
Maybe both. It suggests they think they're ready to move quickly, shows some operational vigor, as they might put it.
And for listeners, it means maybe being at the front of a pretty swift blockchain rollout if they pull it off?
Potentially, yes. It puts them on a fast track compared to many others.
Okay, so let's zero in on that pre-sale then, because that's kind of the starting pistol for this 6-month clock, right?
Presumably, yes.
We know it's live right now, April 2025. They're calling it the groundbreaking crypto pre-sale 2025. Pretty bold.
And it seems to be working, at least initially. Their site is showing, well, it says $1 million raised. That number keeps ticking up.
That early money definitely helps fuel development, keep things on track for those ambitious timelines.
No doubt. Resources are crucial.
They're also pushing early involvement with this bonus key, BDAG 1200. Says it offers a 600% bonus.
Right, typical pre-sale incentive stuff.
But more interesting maybe for the launch date question, they mention an upcoming AMA.
An Ask Me Anything session.
Yeah, and a final testnet live stream. Both are scheduled for April 17th.
Okay, final testnet stream. That's a key word, isn't it?
It feels significant.
It suggests they think the testnet phase, the critical testing phase, is wrapping up.
Right, and doing an AMA right alongside it. Maybe they're getting ready to answer the big questions like launch dates?
Could be. Often, AMAs right before major milestones are used to build hype and share key details.
They're even promoting a golden ticket early coins at launch, linked to this AMA.
At launch. That phrasing definitely points towards launch being, the next big step they're focused on.
Seems like it. Okay, so let's talk more about this testnet then. It's a big indicator of progress, right?
Absolutely crucial. They state pretty clearly, BlockDAG Primordial Testnet is now live. So it's not just an idea, it's running.
And the point of it is?
To prove their tech works, that high-speed, parallel transaction stuff, using their specific DAG Beast proof of work, they need to show it handles load, it's secure, all before the mainnet goes live with real value.
Makes sense. Stress test it first.
Exactly. And they seem quite open about it. They list tools people can use to interact with this testnet.
Like what?
An Explorer to see transactions, a faucet to get test coins, an IDE for developers, a wiki, contracts wizard, even some early dApps and instructions for running a testnet node.
Wow, okay. That's quite a suite of tools.
It suggests the testnet isn't just basic, it's fairly developed, fairly mature, which again points towards them being further along the path to launch.
All right, so ambitious 6-month goal, a pre-sale gaining steam, a testnet that seems near its final stages. Now, what about that pre-launch development update? That came out March 10th, 2025.
Ah, yes, that one. This could hold some really specific clues.
The title alone is suggestive. Countdown to launch. Final development updates before the big reveal.
Yeah, it sets a clear expectation. And then inside, they say, and I'm quoting roughly here, this brings exciting updates as we edge closer to the highly anticipated launch in the 4th week of March.
Okay, there it is, 4th week of March. That's the really interesting part for our timing focus.
Because
we're talking now in April 2025, the 4th week of March. Well, it's past.
Right. So they clearly targeted late March for something significant they were calling a launch.
But a full mainnet launch, as far as we can tell, didn't happen then.
That seems to be the case. No major announcement followed that specific week. So that March mention gives us a very specific, very recent target they had.
But it also suggests maybe a slight delay, or perhaps the launch they meant then was something slightly different than the full mainnet.
That's possible. It could have been an internal milestone or a final expanded testnet phase. It's hard to say for sure, but the target was there.
Also, in that March update, remember they said the official name for the testnet was decided but would be revealed at the official launch, but their website still calls it the Primordial Testnet.
That's a subtle point. If the official launch they mentioned for late March happened, you'd expect the name reveal to have occurred too.
So maybe that also hints that whatever was planned for late March didn't quite roll out fully as described.
It could suggest that, yes, maybe not all the pieces were quite ready for that specific reveal they had planned then.
Still, the overall vibe of that March update was positive, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely optimistic. They talked about full ecosystem testing being underway, parallel bug fixing.
Which means they're doing the hard yards, the necessary work to stabilize everything before a proper public release.
Exactly. You need that thorough testing. And their next steps section in that update mentioned finishing this ecosystem testing, fixing bugs for a flawless launch, and finalizing the rebrand of their X1 miner app.
All things you do right before you flick the switch on the mainnet.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All pointing towards that mainnet launch being the main goal.
And let's not forget the very last bit. Keep the community engaged and excited as we approach the 4th week of March launch.
Right. Even though that specific week passed, the message was clear. We're close. Stay tuned. It underlines that near-term intention, even with a possible small slip.
So it paints a picture of a team really pushing, getting very close, and likely still pushing hard now.
That's the feeling you get from the updates, yeah. Continued activity towards that launch goal.
Okay, let's just touch briefly on why people care about this timing. BlockDAG themselves draw comparisons to getting in early on things like Ethereum or BNB or Polygon.
Right, the potential upside of being early in a successful layer 1. That's the hook they're using.
And they're also talking about immediate use, aren't they, with the mobile mining app and the X-Series miners?
Yes, suggesting the network won't just launch, it'll be functional, with people securing it through mining right away.
And they've allocated a huge chunk of tokens, 28 billion BDH, just for miners.
Which emphasizes how important those miners are going to be from day one, post-launch. It reinforces that commitment to a working, decentralized network quickly.
Okay, so let's try and boil this down. Key takeaways on the potential release date based on what we've seen.
Okay, first, the big one, that ambitious goal. Mainnet within 6 months of the 2025 pre-sale starting. Sets a general time frame.
Second, the March update. It specifically mentioned targeting the 4th week of March for a launch. That date passed, but it shows us how recently they intended to launch. It's a concrete reference point.
Third, the testnet status. It's live, it's got tools, they're doing ecosystem testing, bug fixing. This all screams final stages.
And that upcoming final testnet stream on April 17th feels like another key marker to watch.
Absolutely. Fourth, just the general activity. The pre-sale raising funds, the AMA coming up, the focus on mining. It all points to building momentum for a launch, likely soon after that initial March target.
So while we don't have an exact date stamped on it right now,
No, not precisely announced as we record this.
all the signs point towards BlockDAG, aiming to launch relatively soon, likely in the period following that late March window they mentioned.
That seems like the most reasonable conclusion based on their own communications.
So for you, the